all the sorts of things that are going on around the city. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Nick.
Are you enjoying the summer?
Well,
it's getting better.
Point, isn't
getting
it?
better.
This weather that we've had. It'd be nice to have something that was a bit stable and a bit more sunshine and something that was a little bit warmer.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? But I think it is. We're getting a little bit of a burst of summer now, so I think we should hope that things are looking up a little bit. In fact, on Sunday, my partner and I, in the afternoon, when it actually turned out to be quite nice, had a quick walk around the lakes. And I think you've got some news on stuff that's going on at the lakes, because we noticed there were a lot of Canada geese there.
Well, yes. I mean, if you're a Canada goose, this is a great success story.
But otherwise, maybe not.
For the other fauna and the ducks, it's not such a good story. No, it's a bit of a national problem. Canada geese have been incredibly successful. And it's amazing to think they doubled their numbers in the UK since 1984, about 160,000 of them. And they're very, very successful. But the problem is, though they're successful at breeding, they're quite an aggressive species. So they do latch on and push out the indigenous. And of course, they can be a health hazard. And this is where it does come back to Verulamium Park and the lakes, because their poo, their droppings, actually can create toxic algae in the water and reduce the oxygen level, which of course is bad for everybody and dangerous. They've become an issue. And of course, they also, their droppings are all over the grass. It's not very nice if you've got young kids running along and they slip on this horrible stuff. So they're a bit of a menace.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've had trouble with algae in the lakes in recent years, haven't we? They've tried everything, kind of dredging stuff out. It's the water flow fundamentally, isn't it, though?
There's the water flow, and there's issues that exacerbate it. One is the Canada geese, which I mentioned, but also there's a problem with people feeding the ducks, I'm afraid. And although there are lots of notices up, people carry on feeding the ducks, which really isn't very helpful, because that all goes to the bottom of the lake and creates more pollution. And we've been lucky so far, I suppose. It's if you like, it's the blue skies part of the awful weather, that we've had so much rain that we haven't actually had really nasty pollution that we've had in previous years when we've had real difficulties with the lakes.
Yeah, the lakes actually at the moment look beautiful, don't they? I think, okay, they're overflowing at the edges a bit, but they're full, the water looks okay, and, there's wildlife on there, although we did notice there were an awful lot of Canada geese. And we were saying, well, where are they going to or from? It seems like the wrong time for them to be here, really, but is that all part of this problem?
Well, climate change gets blamed for this as well. They are staying where they would normally leave and go back to Canada or the Arctic. They're not leaving and they're staying. So that is an issue. And they are a protected species, so you can't just go around bumping them off. But you can get licenses either to kill them, or if find that really too extreme, you can remove their eggs or their nests, and that will be a way of controlling the population. Certainly, I think that will be on the agenda soon nationally, because they are becoming, as I say, a problem, particularly where they're squeezing out your indigenous species.
It's a shame. They're quite a beautiful bird, aren't they? But there we are. If it's becoming a problem, it's becoming a problem for the other species, as you say, as well. Well, we'll have to sort of wait and see what happens about controlling them. But in the meantime, you were saying that we can at least not encourage them and not add to the pollution issue by feeding. I didn't see, actually, I saw the notices and I didn't see anyone attempting to feed anything on Sunday, which was good, I guess.
That is good. If the notifications are working now, that will be a great help, because we know that the lakes are a problem, and at the moment there doesn't seem to be any movement from the Environment Agency on the plans they had for creating a better flow of the Ver. Mind you, that say the Ver is looking very healthy at the moment, but
there were some quite big plans, weren't they? But I haven't really seen much about them. They were quite expensive. So am I guessing correctly that perhaps because they're so expensive, they're going incredibly slowly and might not happen?
I suspect that's what's happening. Yes, I mean there were big plans which were, say, really planned by the Environment Agency, but that just seems now to have disappeared into this is terrible, into deeper water.
Ah, well, will find actually it's deeper water that we really need, isn't it? We actually need the flow increased and you know a bit more through the lakes and also down the Ver itself. And of course, water extraction in itself is another problem because that's what part of what's caused the Ver to slow down. But well, maybe we should talk to the Environment Agency. We'll see if we can get them on a future show. Tim, stay with us because we're going to talk about is St Albans better or worse than it used to be? There's never been a more controversial subject, I don't think. And also news about how you can find out about the local plan, which sounds boring but is actually really, really important. With us is President of the St Albans Civic Society, Tim Boatswain. Tim will be back with us in a little while. Tim Boatswain, he's the President of St Albans Civic Society. Now, Tim, you've got a starring in a bit of an American video, haven't you?
Well, I think that's a slight exaggeration, but there is a video now on YouTube which your listeners might be interested in. It was put together by an American who runs his own travel company, and he came over to look at St Albans as one of the travel spots. And he's done this, I think, rather good video about St Albans, and he was here when the sun was out, so you can tell how long ago that was. On
that one day, you mean?
Yes, I had the privilege to show him around St Albans, a lot of the historic sites, and in proper tradition, we ended up at the Fighting Cocks over an English pint. But anyway, he's produced this video, which shows St Albans in a very nice way, but it's been posted on various sites, social media sites, and it's created some controversy because you won't be surprised, but there tends to be at least two camps about St Albans. Is it better than it was, or has it got worse than it was? And this has caused lots of comment and lots of interest. It's something perhaps the audience would be interested in. Think about St Albans now. Is it better than when you first came here, or has it got worse? What is it?
Now, there's an interesting question. Well, we've posted up on our Facebook page, Mix926 Official, we've posted up the video and a little poll which says, you know, what do you think? Is St Albans somewhere that's better than it used to be, or has it declined? And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're bound to get lots of different opinions on that. Everybody has their own perspective. I mean, personally, I love the city. I'm not sure if it's better or worse than it used to be, but I love it anyway. But it's great that we've got a travel vlogger, I suppose you'd say, making a video about St Albans, because that can only be good for tourism, right?
Absolutely. And I think we generally recognise, and certainly this administration of the council recognises, that in terms of our economy, it's good to have more visitors, particularly in terms of, you know, we've got such a wonderful historic heritage here that we can show that off. And I think it's a great asset for the city.
Yes, brilliant. Well, if you would like to enjoy the video, as I say, it's up on our Facebook page right now. It's also on our website. So take a look and let us know what you think. Now, all about the future is the local plan, which I suppose, putting it in a nutshell, Tim, is a sort of framework within which developers work once we've got an agreed local plan. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, the local plan sort of sets the parameters in which developers can operate in terms of, I think, many of your listeners will be familiar with the idea of where you're going to put new housing, for example, and that is framed within the local plan. It is a complex document. It has a vision element to it as well as a control element to it, and it needs quite a bit of explanation. And the council are setting up some exhibitions in the first week of September, and you can go on their website to find out if they're coming to your area. And I do recommend people to go along and try and understand it, because it will frame the future development until 2041. So it's an important document, and this is the chance for everybody to have their say.
And that's the whole of St Albans district, isn't it? So it includes places like Harpenden, Wheathampstead.
Absolutely.
All right, so go to the council's website, St Albans. Have I got this right? stalbans.gov.uk, isn't it? I think
that's right.
And you'll find the exhibition dates for the local plan. There will also be publicising it as we get a bit nearer to the date for that. Well, Tim, I don't know. We've covered geese and American tourists and the local plan. That's a pretty wide waterfront, isn't it?
Excellent. Good.
Are you going to have a summer holiday? Have you had one already?
Well, you know what a busy guy I am. No, I haven't yet, but because next week is my debut in the Roman theatre, which I'm looking forward to.
Ah, yes. Not exactly a thespian, right? But nevertheless appearing in the Roman theatre. Is that
yes,
right?
And well, I'm talking about the essence of Greek tragedy, and I'm sorry to say, or pleased to say, whichever way you look at it, that it's a sellout. So if you were waiting or hoping to get tickets now, I'm sorry, they're all gone.
Congratulations on being a sellout, Tim. What a draw.
It's fortunate, Nick, that I have such a huge family that we were able to buy up all the tickets. No,
Tim, break a leg, as they say in the theatre, on that, and we'll look forward to speaking to you next month again about matters local.
Thanks very much, Nick. Pleasure as always.
That's Tim Boatswain. Tim is president of St Albans Civic Society.